All right, welcome back to our final episode of our renderer. In the previous episode, we went ahead and completed our renderer class, and in this episode, we're going to go ahead and go a bit further and utilize some of the new features that our renderer class provides. For one, we now are buffering every single frame in our while loop here. So we're calling draws and flushes every single frame now, as opposed to outside of the class. And in this episode, we're going to go ahead and learn about projection matrices and what exactly their use are. And we're going to scale our sprite down to actual dimensions to fit our window, as opposed to how we were doing it in our project. So without further ado, let's just get right into coding. And let's, I guess we'll start off in our sprite.vertex shader file. So what we're going to do is going to create a uniform matrix 4, and we're going to call this matrix projection. And we're going to insert our projection matrix by multiplying it by our position vector. So make sure you have projection before you're multiplying by the position. If you do it after, it's going to do a different sort of, it's not going to look right, first of all. And yeah, it's different multiplying it one way versus the other. So make sure you have it in this sort of arrangement. The next bit that we're going to go ahead and accomplish, I guess we'll set up orthographic. To do that, we're going to need to include extension matrix clip space. So this has the orthographic camera option. And what the orthographic camera is it's just a 2D view of our window. So we define a width and height, so probably 800 by 600. And it'll convert any values that are within 800 and 600 into OpenGL coordinates, so 1 by -1. So just to kind of showcase what that looks like, after we call shader.use, let's go ahead and create our projection matrix so that we can input it into our shader program. So projection is equal to glm ortho, and the different things that we need to put into our orthographic, or to set up our orthographic camera. The left is going to be 0, the bottom 800.0f, and the top, well, it's going to be 600, so 600.0f. And then the top is again going to be 0 for the so that's going to be the top Y. And then what we're converting it to, so the Z near is going to be -1. So that's going to be our 1 value there. And then it's going to be from -1 to 1. So we're just defining all the different points of our screen. So it's 800 by 600. The left is our 0, the top is our 0, and the bottom and bottom right, and then bottom left, or bottom right for our Y is 600. I just stuttered through that entire sentence, but pretty much what it does is it makes our character look nice, and it looks correct on the screen. So to load this into our shader program, we call the setMat4. Our name is projection, and we pass through our variable, which is also a projection, and that should solve all of our issues. So let's actually work on moving our character around. So to do that, let's move our dest outside of our main file so that we can access it in a sloppy put together method, and we'll call this method process input, and eventually we'll make a callback for all inputs and put it together in a nice spiffy sort of way that OpenGL actually offers as a solution for it. But for now, we're going to do it in this really dirty method, all in our main.cpp file, where we just do check if glfw get key. And we got to input the window where we're checking what keyboard press there is, and then what key. So the key we're going to be checking, let's start off with key up. And if that is equal to glfw press, whatever that means, looks like it's defined as 1. So if that's equal to 1, we're going to increment our dest, which we defined outside of our main class now. So dest.y is going to minus equal, because that's the y direction. And I guess we'll have to define a speed variable. So let's go ahead and define that here. Const express auto speed, we'll do it in all caps, is equal, let's just do 4.0f. So that minus equals our speed variable that we defined it, or sped. And we'll just do that for all 4 directions here. So this will be plus equals for down. This will be minus equals in the y or the x direction for left. This will be plus equals in the x direction for key press right. All right, and then we'll just call this function in our while loop. Process input, we can spell correctly. Passing through our window. And then the last thing that we need to do, I don't know why I'm doing it in that little like prompt for that Visual Studios give you. I'm sorry about that. If you couldn't read that properly, that's entirely on me. Let me just zoom in as well here. And let's update our dest here. So dest is now no longer between -1 and 1. It is now between 0 and 800 by 600. So let's find the center of the screen here and actually input proper width and height for it as well. So our dest in the center of the screen, so half of the screen width is 400, and then half of the character width, so it's going to be a 64 by 64 pixel sprite, so it's going to be minus 32 as well. And then for height, it's 300 is half the height of the screen, minus 32, and then it's width and height of 64. Now if we go ahead and run this, I think we should get a character. Yep. So we got something to display on our screen, and we can move it around. You'll notice one key flaw here is the character is upside down. Now you might be thinking, now why is it doing that? And that's actually because in episode 3, it was episode 2. It was episode 3. We did this stbi set vertically on load equals true. That is just to fix when like your images are just loaded in upside down for some reason, just because it's easier, I guess. I'm not entirely sure the reason. But we no longer need that now because we are dealing with a projection matrix. So that is all done and fixed. So we can actually delete that. And now, if we run this again, our character is right side up. So we can actually move around like so. So there you go. That's the end of the tutorial now. So, as always, I want to thank you guys so much for following along with these videos, supporting my content, supporting this video series in general. In the next episode, I actually don't know what we're doing. But we'll be doing something fun and interesting, hopefully. I'm just gonna open this. We're dealing with a batch renderer. So we're going to be rendering multiple different images to the screen. So what that's going to look like, I think I just have like a grassy array background that we're going to draw at the back of our moving character. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, I already went through this bit. All right, bye.